What show are we doing?
Dharma Time. Oh my gosh. Welcome to Dharma Time, everybody. I'm your host, the Dharma Guy, here as always with the Dope Doctor on WPSN99.com.
I even told you that I wasn't recording.
Horrible. Can't believe
I even said it, right? I even said it, and I never went back to it.
No bueno.
And I did it just to kind of like mess with you.
Right on.
And I just ended up messing myself
Oh my
up.
gosh. Anyways, well, some of you guys are listening on WPSN Live. Other people, we have our of course, as usual, our Facebook Live. So hello to everybody on there. We got a couple people, Nancy, Richard, Gary, everybody tuning in. I think today's going to be a good show, actually. So for those of you watching for the first time, congratulations. I think you picked a good day.
Yeah.
Having said that, some house cleaning very quickly to get out of the way. We got a really cool show coming up on The Couch Live, which is one of our sister shows on the network. It's about drug and alcohol addiction, and we're going to be in California. California is where they said they want to be, and we're going to be at a facility known as Northbound, and we're going to be interviewing a Mr. Jason Waller
From the hills.
From the hills.
From the hill, not from like the West Virginia hills.
Yeah,
like the show, the TV show, The Hills.
Yeah, I got to be honest, I never really watched the show, but I'm excited nonetheless.
He was on another show, reality show over there. What was it?
The OC, I think.
The OC.
Like I don't know.
The OC.
I could have made that up too, by the way. I don't know.
No, I think you're right.
But I don't know. My first time in California, so I'm
I love the hair helmet.
Yeah, he's got a hair helmet today. I like it. All right, so anything else before we get started with today's wonderful topic?
No, just Jamie. Jamie says our, and I quote, our hotel is dope.
Right on.
In L.A.
I
look forward to the trip to L.A. Look forward to doing the Couch Live
tomorrow morning.
And early in the morning.
Yeah.
And doing it from out there and visiting the program up there. But that'll be nice.
Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Good friend Jamie Vance.
And you guys can check that out actually on WPSN99.com, or you can go to youtube.com/thecouchlive and check out that show later on.
Yeah.
So, anyways, all right, let's get started, man.
Hey, man.
This is a big show, I think, today.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so. The name of the show today is Spirituality is for the Weak. And obviously that was a play on words, right? Obviously anybody who knows me knows that I don't obviously feel that way. I was doing that to try to number one, get some people to fired up to watch. Number two, right. I was also doing that as a play on the idea that I think is floating around there amongst a lot of people. And that is, I think a lot of people out there in today's world don't value spirituality. I think they feel that it's an optional thing in life.
Right.
I think that they, most people, not all, but I think most people associate spirituality with a specific religion,
right.
Whichever one they have in their heads, not, one religion over the others. But
right.
So I think when they think spirituality, they think religion.
Right.
And if that's how you think, and you're not a religious individual, or you feel like you've been wronged by whatever religion, then you have a tendency of saying, I don't need that, that's not for me.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we want to address today, because obviously I am a firm believer that spirituality is a much needed component of life. I think you are as well.
Right.
I've seen what it's done for not only myself, but other people. And I can't ignore the value anymore.
Right.
As much as I wanted to back in the day, I've obviously made a complete 180 on that. So, and apparently
it's better than a 360.
Yes.
I love it when people say that.
I hate it when people say that, because you realize you're right.
I made a 360. Yeah, you're probably dead.
Yeah, I wouldn't brag about that. And Richard Coleman apparently is the number one fan. Oh, he says I'm the number one fan. Oh, nice.
You know what I like better than 180s? I like 45s. I like 45-degree turns.
Pivot.
Just a little pivot.
Just a little pivot.
Just a little sidestep.
Still going the same direction. It's just slightly.
Yeah, because it's all moving forward.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just a little dodge.
Yeah,
I like dodging.
So spirituality. Here's the thing, right? So spirituality kind of has multiple definitions, and I think that's where a lot of people get stuck, because there is no concrete definition of what spirituality is. As I said,
there is concrete definition of what spirituality is. There's just no concrete communal understanding of what that means after the definition.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like how to further define it.
Well, I think even the definition.
18-point turn, I like it.
Even the actual definition of it, I think most people would define it as religion, to be honest with you.
I think most people. And that's fine. And that's
Let
fine.
me see.
And I get it.
Here's the actual definition of it.
Uh-oh.
I just looked it up. It says the quality of being concerned with the human spirit or soul as opposed to material or physical things.
Let me take another sip.
I can agree with that.
Wait.
Let me read it again.
Yeah, I need
once more for you. The quality of being concerned with the human spirit or soul as opposed to material or physical things.
I like it.
That's what they call spirituality.
Ooh, Tatiana wants us to go to India with her. Let's go to India.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
Let's pack the bags. Let's do it.
So, all right. So, I guess let me kick it off by saying,
Yeah.
you know, the reason why I think spirituality is so important, and,
Yeah.
and we have bullet points, but I'm gonna throw those out the window. We're gonna go ahead and just do our thing. All right. So let me first by say this: if you're out there and you're not sure about spirituality, and you're on the fence, and you're having a debate if it's even worth it, or if you're one of those individuals that think that you don't need spirituality, I'm going to say the reason why I am pro spirituality is because spirituality gives you the one thing that you can't get anywhere else, and I'm going to argue that that's peace.
Yeah.
I'm going to say
can't find that at Walmart.
No, I'm going to say, you know, I've tried my hardest in my life to find peace through women. I've tried to find peace through.
Did we try that?
Yeah, I tried to find peace through buying things. I tried that. I tried to find peace through violence. I tried to find peace through you know, traveling and going, seeing experiences.
Yep.
None of it worked.
None of it.
It gave me some cool experiences. It gave me some not so cool experiences. I bought some cool things.
Maybe even a venereal disease.
No, never got those. But no, I got a lot of cool stories from it, but I was still left without peace. And so for me, I look back on my life and where I'm at now compared to where I was before.
Yes.
And the one thing I have in my life that I didn't have before is peace. And peace, guys, just so we know, my definition of peace is this innate understanding that it's okay. Right? Life isn't necessarily going the way I want it to go in every facet. But I'm good, man. I'm okay. You know, I've got a certain peace that I'm all right. I'll figure it out. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And that acceptance, I guess, you know. And so for me, that peace is in my life now. And the only thing that's in there that's caused that I can associate it to is spirituality.
Yeah, nothing else. Nothing.
Yeah.
And like John Ferris put in there, it's also influenced by perspective or perception, which is exactly why we're talking about it today.
Absolutely.
Because everybody has their own perspective or their own perception, if you will, on what it means. Like I said, even though there's a definition, even though Webster wrote it down, and I'm not talking about the 3-foot Webster. I'm talking about the book Webster. Even though Webster wrote it down, people like to argue it because we like to further define it past Webster.
Right.
And there's no need to argue it. If somebody has a spirituality in the left direction, you don't need to argue that it needs to be in the right direction or in the up direction or down direction. It is what it is to that person. Whatever fuels that person, fuels that person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
As long as it's outside, and what the key factor is, as long as it's outside of you.
Yeah.
Because you as a human, I'm sorry, no offense, you're not enough.
No.
You never were enough. You're never going to be enough. Because this world was here before you. It'll be here after you. Hopefully. But right now it's here with you. And while you're blessed enough to be here with all of us, then just accept that you're a piece of it. And just accept that it exists. There's no need to fight it.
Well, here's the thing, too.
The ego gets in the way so much. And we're going to have to get into it. But go ahead.
But here's the other thing, right? Like when I would do groups in the drug and alcohol world, right?
Right.
When I would do groups in there.
At the bar?
Yeah. So when I was running groups, one of the things that I would say to people is the reason why you need spirituality is when the problem with relying on just yourself, just you, is you're not leaving any room for error there, right? And the problem with that is you know, when you're relying only on yourself, what you don't realize is you're only a collection of essentially memories and predictions.
That's it.
Right? All you are is memories of things that you've seen and heard and happened to you, and your prediction of what's going to happen in the future. That's not like reality. That's just your truth.
And it's your perception, and all research shows your perception is not accurate most of the time.
Exactly. And so that's the problem is perspective, and I think it was John that said it earlier.
Right.
And that's the case. Like you're coming at things from your perspective, but
Mm-hmm.
you're also basically you're betting on the fact that your
Right.
perspective is right.
And it's altered
And-
by. I'm sorry.
No, I agree. No, I agree.
No, because I can't. When you say it, Trini, I just keep thinking about these psych experiments, like where they would show
Right.
the lines that one is clearly bigger than the other, but they
Right.
would put everybody in the room to say the bigger line is the smaller line, and the test subject is like the last subject.
Yeah.
And everybody goes, that one, and they're all so confident the test subject goes with them.
Yeah. Well, like
I mean,
here's
we have research after research after research that shows that people are influenced by others,
Yes.
and they would deny that they're influenced by
Yes.
others.
Well, and but not only that though, right? Like you have like in the health and fitness world, I would get a client come to me, and they would tell me, I've tried working out and eating right. That just doesn't work for me. Hold up, I'm sorry. What?
It doesn't work for me.
Yeah, you're the one. You know?
Yeah, you're the one going first.
But the problem is they would go and they already think that they're unworthy, right? They already don't love themselves. They already got a low self-esteem.
Yeah.
And so they go out and try all these other different snake oil type remedies to lose weight. None of them work. And so they walk away thinking, okay, well, there's something wrong with me. The stuff I tried, it doesn't
Right,
work.
right.
That's their perspective. And they will sell it to you as in, I failed, I'm not good enough,
Right.
and this doesn't work for me. And then I come in as a professional and I hear what they've tried. I'm like, well, you've just been trying really stupid things. Like, none of these things work. You haven't been trying it this way.
Right.
Because I'm coming from a perspective of education and a professional. They're coming from anecdotal personal experiences and beliefs. Right.
And lack of follow through.
Well, that too.
Like, come on.
But my point is they're coming from a fractured perspective.
Right.
And so from a fractured perspective, everything looks like it's broken. You know what I mean? And so what I'm saying is what spirituality does for you is it gives you like essentially glasses. It brings everything into focus. It gives you a different perspective. It lets you see things differently. And then you start to realize, wow, wait a minute. Maybe all this time that I was
Right.
thinking this,
Right.
maybe I wasn't really as right as I thought I was.
Right.
You know, I mean, dude, even me now, I wish now I was half as smart as I thought I was when I was 18 years
Oh,
old.
I was brilliant back then.
Oh, in 18, I knew everything. I
I
had
was
it all
brilliant.
figured
I was
out.
so smart.
But as I got older, I started realizing, man, I don't know anything.
I'm such an idiot.
Oh, absolutely. And so what spirituality gave me, though, was just that peace. And I wouldn't have had that peace without that perspective.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people don't value when it comes to spirituality. And I truly do believe you do a disservice when you compare spirituality to religion.
Right.
Because to me, religion is a set of beliefs that you do religiously. Like, it's a set of things. It's a book that you read. It's a place that you go on Sunday, whatever. Spirituality, I think, is so much bigger than religion. I think
Right.
religion is a way that you can practice spirituality,
Right.
but I think spirituality is bigger than religion. Like,
Well, because spirituality is not a doctrine.
exactly. There is no one way.
Religion is a doctrine.
Yes.
You know,
Not to say there's anything wrong with religion.
No,
if religion is how you choose to practice your spirituality, then by all means, go for it.
I think here's the positive stuff about doctrine, though. It's like a how-to book.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, for a lot of people, it just makes it much easier to have a how-to book. Some people read
Absolutely.
instructions. Some people don't. Some people feel better with structure. Some people don't. However, the structure of what religion provides does allow you to activate that spirituality within you
Yeah.
and use it as a fuel. But just because you have religion doesn't make you a spiritual person. There's a lot of
Correct.
people, they claim all kinds of things, and it doesn't mean that they're
No,
living
really?
a spiritual life for themselves or for others. You know what I like about spirituality, Trini, is that as personal as it is,
Right.
whether you want it to exist or not, it just does. Like gravity, it just does.
Yeah.
The beautiful thing for me, like you said, peace earlier, that it gave you peace.
Yeah.
It just discontinued my need to know why. I used to ask the word
Right.
why about everything. I used to question everything. I needed proof, and I think a lot of that had to do when you come into this world and so many of the things that you thought or your expectations get slammed or hurt, or you're bothered by certain instances within your early livelihood. It's hard. It's just hard to
Right.
believe in things, to believe outside yourself, because when all the world stuff fails, you feel like, oh yeah, but I'm still here.
Right.
I just got to shake this off and go, like we said earlier,
yeah.
you know, like
pull
shake
you
it
up
off.
by your bootstraps.
Right, which physically, yes, behaviorally, yes, but internally, no. Internally, the fuel is still there. It's always present. It's always there pushing you forward. All you have to do is just do the behavioral stuff.
Yeah.
to walk forward. The fuel is already there. You just got to learn how to.
The other thing about spirituality, which I know is beneficial to a lot of people, myself included, is, and I don't know about you. I don't know if you can relate to this.
All right.
And I'm being facetious because everybody does, but my value system and my my decision making can be affected depending on my frame of mind.
Yeah, always.
If I'm upset, I'm gonna make a different decision than if I'm not upset.
Yes.
If I'm feeling hurt and rejected, I'm gonna make a different decision than if I'm not feeling hurt and rejected. If I'm feeling happy and ecstatic and great,
yes.
I'm gonna make a different decision.
Correct.
And so my point is, my perspective and my philosophy can flow and change depending on my environment or how I'm feeling at the moment.
Correct.
You know what doesn't do that?
Spirituality. I know the answer.
Exactly. So that's the thing, is it's like a check and balance, right? Like, if something happens in front of me and I'm in an upset mood, I'm more likely to respond in a way detrimental to myself. However, if I stop to say, well, wait a minute, I know I want to respond this way, and I could come up with a million justifications on why this is right.
Right.
Let me check with my spirituality first. Let me check to see if this is in line with how I want to be perceived in the world and how I want to live, or what's giving me my peace.
Right.
And if it's not in line with that, then that tells me, like, oh, I see what I was getting ready to do. I'm not going to do that, though. It's like a check and balance kind of a thing. And I think that's what people don't understand when they want to rely on themselves. Your self changes every single day. Right. The self you wore when you first started listening to this program is different than the self that's sitting there right now.
Right.
And that's what people don't realize, is you're the thing that you call yourself. And I won't get too far into this because it's a Buddhist philosophy, but the self that you're looking at is just a collection of memories. It's not really a tangible thing. But I know we'll get that's a big.
No, I like it. I like it because those memories. But see, the thing is when you say that, mm-hmm. I can't help but think how, again, being a psych student, being in that world. All right, so even the memories are skewed. Even the memories are skewed to how you kind of want to keep them, and you lose some. Like,
dude, the most unreliable thing in a court case is the witness.
Right. The witness is the most exactly. Yeah. Yet we go by that.
Exactly.
If I saw it, I believe it to be true. Yeah. But what did I see?
Yeah.
What I saw is skewed. Here's the peaceful thing. The peaceful thing is just knowing that amongst everything, we're very insignificant but significant to us.
Yes.
But that's because you have a role to play. Whatever that role be, you're just supposed to be the best at that. Period. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
Maybe you're a note taker. I don't know.
Maybe
you're a collector. Maybe you're a collector of information that you're supposed to take that back to death. I don't know, or to non-existence. I don't know. But that's not my job, man. That's not my job. I like to stay in my lane, and in my lane is not to be the spirit god of the world.
Right.
I'm just supposed to do the best I can do for my brothers and sisters out here, and that's it.
Yeah, man.
I'm pretty secure in that role. Aren't you feeling pretty secure in
Absolutely.
where you're at spiritually as far as like your role? Because there's so many people that talk about passion. Like, what's my passion? I gotta find my passion. I gotta find my passion. I didn't search for my passion. My passion kind of hit me upside the head and said, "This feels good here."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I point to here, even though it's really not here.
Well, the
other
thing that you mentioned earlier, prior to going on air, when we started this discussion, I guess. Part of that piece for me, anyways, is coming to the fact of realizing like what matters and what doesn't.
Right.
Things that I used to think mattered, that I was so focused on fixing, and all my energy went to that. When I got into spirituality and I got my peace, I realized that those things don't affect my peace. Like, I'm good. Like, I don't need those things.
No.
And what it did was it freed up my time to work on other more important things. So in other words, now I can dedicate my time to being the best father that I can be,
mm-hmm.
to being the best husband that I can be, to being the best practitioner that I can be,
mm-hmm.
because I'm not so worried and distracted with my ego and what's important, what's not important,
right.
and trying to like defend my stances on things or whatever it may be. All the stuff that I was so focused on when I didn't have spiritual peace.
And to collect those memories that you talked about rather than try to fabricate them.
Yeah.
Just collect them.
Yes. Yeah, so I mean, and that to me is the one thing, and we all kind of know that though, right? Like, but the problem though, I think when it comes to spirituality that I've run into, which is why I put the title of the show "Spiritualities for the Week," is because I think that's the walk away. I think people walk away with this idea that I don't need no stinking spirituality.
I don't need no spirituality.
Yeah, like that's for them weak people. That's for people who need crutches and stuff. I've got this. I'm good. I don't need any of that. You know, I don't. I look at those people and then they're beneath me, kind of a thing. Yeah. You know, and I think that's how people feel. But oftentimes, those same people who feel that way, if you take an honest inventory of your own life, are you really that happy? Do you really have peace, or are you just convincing yourself that you do?
Let me tell you something.
And do you define peace as in when things go your way? Because that's not spirituality. That's not peace. That's a condition. That is, as long as things go the way I think they should go, I'm happy. I'm good. Well, no shit. Everybody feels that way. It's when it doesn't go good. Do you completely fall into shambles, or are you still okay? And that to me is where the peace comes into play. And so, this idea that you don't need peace and it's for weak people is complete bullshit.
Well, the sad thing is the people that kind of say that are actually saying that the other people, it's because the other people are judgmental. Right. But aren't you the one being judgmental when you're judging someone else's spirituality or faith?
Exactly.
Aren't you the one, it's like the political scene right now. It's like the one calling someone else a bully is the bully.
Right.
The one saying, hey, you're judgmental, you're the judgmental one.
Yeah.
The one pointing towards identity as being the issue is the one that's focusing on identity.
Exactly.
You are the problem. The good thing about spirituality is that just know that where I'm at, it's where I'm at. Let me be where I'm at, bro. Yeah. That's okay. It doesn't really affect you in the whole totality of things because this is a very big world.
Yes.
And if my presence is annoying your little world, you can move around to another part of this world. I'm sure you can find another space in it.
Right.
Just like I have found other spaces in this world to be away from the things that I felt were problematic. And that includes, all right, maybe I need to change location of where I live. Maybe I need to change my surroundings. Maybe I need to change my circle of influence. Maybe I need to change what's going in my ears. Maybe I need to change what I'm visualizing. And when you do those kinds of changes, you just might find the right combination to unlock the inner spirituality that gives you such a fuel that it really doesn't matter what the problem is or what the situation is. You just seem to bang it out and do it.
Yeah, well, the other thing that spirituality did for me is I'm no longer as concerned with the outcome anymore of things, right? Like I used to always be outcome based.
Right.
And now no matter what the outcome, like my happiness doesn't depend on an outcome.
Right.
I'm good.
Well, that goes to the tire thing that you use.
The tire thing.
That somebody's happy with your flat tire.
Yeah. Well, but like I just can't get over this notion though that people feel like they're claiming spirituality somehow identifies you as less than. Like you need something else, you're depending on something else, whatever. That idea is so crazy to me. And mind you, I thought that way, 10, 15 years ago. And that was my ego talking. Mm-hmm. That was my insecurities of not being good enough or whatever it is that was talking. But now when I look at it, I mean, even if you're thinking just logically and common sense, this stuff's been around for thousands of years and has stood the test of time. Right. You've been on this earth, you've been on this earth for a long time. but even still, a long time. Let's say 49 years.
49 years, man.
But when you look at the Earth has been around for how many thousands of years?
It's just 49.
Yeah, exactly.
It's only been around for 49 years. This year only for me.
This idea that in our lifetime we can wrap our heads around and figure out something as complex as the brain or life in that short amount of time. Come on. Really?
No, we all think we're the Truman Show.
Dude,
That's the problem.
I know people who can't even figure out their remote control in less than an hour without looking it up online. But you're going to be able to figure out life and the meaning of life and what makes you happy all by yourself in however many years?
Well,
really?
Haven't you had a kid try to explain it to you yet?
All the time.
I've had both my daughters have tried to explain to me life already.
Yeah.
And it's like it's kind of cool to listen to, but it's like I'm not going to argue.
Right.
What, I'm going to argue with them? Arguing with a young person. A young person has it all figured out. Like you said, we're brilliant when we're young.
Absolutely.
A young person has all this figured out. This is what depression is. This is what anxiety is. This is how you cope. And as soon as you ask a difficult question, it's like, well, that's just, I made a mistake, or that's just what I did at the time. I was going through something.
Yeah.
And it's like, it doesn't really define anything.
Yeah.
I said, here we do this show, and we talk about how spirituality is weakness. And I'm sure when some people saw the title of what you said, they're like, well, that's Trinity's which is true. Trinity's way of like that uterus thing that you said, or what was it? Your a hoo-ha.
Oh.
You know, Mother's Day was something hoo-ha. Here I am putting a picture of my mother. Happy Mother's Day, and you put a picture of it and it says, "Here's to all the ladies out there who had a human being come out of their hoo-ha." And it's like that's the beauty of spiritual. It's that varied, is what I'm saying.
Right.
It's everybody should be free to grab whatever fuel they grasp, but just understand there's a fuel out there that's bigger than just you. If you're your only source of fuel, where are you? What are the limitations to that? You're a human. Right. You're a limited human being. One person alone did not create anything on this earth. One person alone used the mathematics or the inventions of the people before them to create the new inventions and the new mathematics of the future. The issue is, Trinity, and I said this before the show, I think because we have not been able to mathematically define spirituality, I think there's an issue. We've been able to replicate gravity. I mean, we actually replicated gravity to the point we nullified it.
Yeah.
Trinity, gravity grabs asteroids out of the freaking sky that are going around and just pulls them in.
Yeah.
Yet human beings together defied it to the point we actually created rooms that defy gravity.
Yeah.
So we've done some very complicated things as a unified group, yet we fight simple things like this and cannot figure this out. And to me, what that does is either it's two questions. One, have we researched it enough? And I'm going to say yes. Two, though, it's not to be defined mathematically. That's what makes it so friggin' awesome.
Well, the other thing, though, and you said it earlier when we were off camera or whatever, that I actually wrote it down because I wanted, because I thought it was a great point, and that is this whole idea about not believing in something bigger than yourself. Mm-hmm. I'm calling bullshit.
Oh, yes.
Because you already do. Like, how many people have we heard? With luck.
Yeah,
that's something bigger than yourself,
yep.
Is it not? So if you believe in luck, but then you're going to try to turn around and tell me that you don't believe in anything, but yeah, you do.
Or this world sucks. They'll say this world sucks.
This world sucks.
Okay, well that's something bigger than yourself.
Exactly. So this idea that you don't believe anything bigger than bullshit. Stop lying to yourself.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
It just the idea of spirituality might mean that you don't know everything at the moment.
It
and
sounds
you can't handle
foolish.
that.
It just sounds foolish.
Exactly.
And I get it. You get it.
Sure.
We try to. It's the ego. Let's talk about the ego, Trinity.
Oh God, that's a whole show, man.
No, but we got to talk about the ego because don't you think that's kind of what gets in the way?
Absolutely.
Of spirituality is the saying, somehow I got to figure this out. I got to be in control. And in a group scenario, I've had so many young people and older people. It's not just young people because there's a lot of adults out there that say, I'm in control. I got to fix this, especially when they're going through life crisis and stuff like that.
Yeah, I just got to figure this out.
You somehow feel like I got to do it. Physically, yes.
Yes.
Physically, yes. But the fuel is derived by you being an open vessel. You can't fix certain things, and you don't control a lot of things. And if you don't believe me, put your arm out and try to grow your hairs on your arm 7 inches long. You can't do that. And yet you have how many hair follicles on your body, yet you can't modify any of them? And you accept that. You just accept it, But here's what faith is. Like, when you ever go into a room, Trinity, and you flick the light on and it doesn't go on?
Yeah.
How many times do you go before you stop flicking it on?
A couple times.
Right?
Yeah.
Because in our head, we're like, whoa, wait a minute. This cannot be possible.
Yeah.
I have
Why
faith
is this
that
not working?
Yeah, every time I do this, it happens. So you struggle with it. Now, does it make you stop believing in light? Does it make you stop believing in life sockets? Now, the rest of your life, do you walk around and go, I'm never going to touch another life socket? You know why? Because when I was 7 years old,
that one failed me.
I went into a room one day, and you know what? When I needed light the most, I really needed it. You don't understand. Right. I really needed it. I was scared. There was a ghost, following me into my room, and I flicked the light on, and it didn't go on. You know what? Since that day, I stopped believing in light.
Yeah. Stupid light.
Anything else, we'd find absurd. Or like some people say, I went to church, or I had this one faith, or I did this belief system, and it just didn't work for me. It just wasn't for me. And it's like, oh, you know what? I went to a restaurant one time, and the waitress sucked.
Yeah.
The server sucked. Or you know what? The food was horrible. I'm never going to go to a restaurant again. I'm never going to eat out again. It just doesn't work like that in anything else.
Well, the thing that I've learned, kind of to echo to that, some of it anyways, the thing that I've learned throughout the spiritual process, if you will, that I think is most fascinating me, and a lot of this comes up because I was talking to my 19-year-old the other day, and they're struggling with some things. They're just growing pains, you know. They're just getting older, struggling with just life at the moment.
Yeah.
And
the meaningless of 19, because it really means nothing. 18 was so damn important.
So when I'm looking at him and I'm hearing him talk about things, where I'm at now in my life, it's obvious as day what the issue is.
Yeah.
It's just his best thinking. You know, his way of doing things is causing his problem.
Yeah.
But he's so busy focusing on all these little things that aren't going the way he wants them to go, and they're the problem.
Right.
It's not his expectations, it's them. Right. If they would just do what he wants them to do, everything would be fine. And so, to me, that's what I try to explain to him. Was like, dude, it's not all these little things that are happening.
Right.
It's your approach that's causing the problem. And that's the thing is, I don't think a lot of us, and that's where the ego comes into play, is we don't want to admit that we're the problem.
Right.
You know, it's so much easier to blame everybody and everything else.
Right.
But no, in all reality, if you're not feeling a certain kind of way, if you're feeling suffering and stuff, that's you.
Right.
That's not the world. That's not. Nobody needs to change, and nothing needs to change for you to experience happiness. Right. Period. It just that is. There's happy people who have nothing. You know, there's an example I always use about I just got into this debate the other day when somebody was trying to argue with me about suffering that you know, pain and suffering. I was like, look, I'm not saying that pain goes away. What I'm saying is suffering. You have two people who are, you know, both lost a leg.
Right.
One person sits back and complains and is upset, saying how much it sucks and, you know, his life is ruined and he can't walk now. You're going to have a million people who are probably, yeah, dude, I can't argue against that. That sucks. Yeah. But then you got the other guy with the exact same injury, touring the country trying to motivate people to overcome obstacles.
Right.
He's happier than ever. Yeah. Same exact thing. One person's got a spiritual perspective and one doesn't. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's where the spirituality comes into play. But this idea that you don't need it, this idea that you are infallible and you're perfect and you're awesome and it's everybody else that needs to change, to me, that's where we all kind of have to wake up, man, and realize that there is only one thing you can control on this earth. Right.
Well, if you're out there and barely even that, if you're out there and you're fighting this spirituality concept, you know, I'm looking at what you just said, Trinity, about not blaming yourself and kind of blaming the outside variables. In what research project have you ever done, or what research have you ever heard of where you keep the hypothesis constant and just alter the variables? And not alter the one main variable, which is the one you're trying to prove. Many of us are out there, until we figure it out, we're trying to prove a certain hypothesis. I'm not the problem, or I'm not wrong. And so you keep trying to prove that hypothesis, but to who? Who are you trying to prove that your approach is correct to? Who are you trying to prove that your way is working when it clearly isn't giving you the outcome, because you wouldn't be having this discussion a lot of times? You know what I mean? Like having my child come to me and tell me what she needs right now just because she just needs it in her head, right? I'm like, you had that, and this was the outcome. The outcome wasn't working. So how is needing that giving you a better outcome if you've already proven that that's the outcome you get with that? And I don't want to get specific because, you know, it's kids and they deserve their privacy.
Of course.
But what I'm saying is, you know, as a parent, you get these very clearly in discussions and arguments where you're like, no, what you think you need is what you want. Needs over wants.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, it's what you want. And yes, I get that you think you want that and you think you're going to get this outcome, but sometimes you just have to back off and truly get what message you're supposed to be receiving right now. And if you're not, and if you're just trying to if you're just trying to prove one hypothesis, you're going to walk around a long time, people. You're going to bump your head a lot trying to prove your hypothesis. And there's a lot of like the world is flat kind of hypothesis that you are saying. You're actually looking at your parents sometimes, or you're actually looking at someone that cares about you sometimes, and you're actually looking at friends of yours sometimes and just saying, no, you don't get it. The world is flat. That's how ridiculous sometimes you sound. And because they love you, they're like, you know what? I don't even know what to say to that.
Yeah.
And they just let you do it.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%, man. But like, you know, this is a conversation that I've had so many times, man. Internally, with myself, with other people, especially now the role that we both play in a lot of people's lives. I've had this conversation, and I see it all the time, even on like social media feeds and stuff. And it's just like people do spend so much time blaming everything on something else.
Mm-hmm.
And in a sense, their spirituality is themselves. Like, like I am my own God kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, what needs to happen in your life? For real. Like an honest discussion with yourself.
Right.
You think your way is the right way.
Yeah.
What needs to happen to make you second guess that? Like, what would literally have to happen? Like, let's just be honest. If your mindset is, I don't need spirituality, I don't need anything bigger than myself. Okay, cool. Is your life perfect at the moment? Are you getting everything that you want? No? Okay.
And I would say write that down, by the way.
What?
Write down what needs to happen, because when that happens,
yeah,
at least you have it written down, because you'll alter it. I promise you'll alter it.
Of course.
You alter it.
But that's my thing, is what would have to happen for you to wake up and say, you know what? Maybe this isn't working for me right now. Maybe my way is just not working.
Right.
Because I was in that same boat. Right. I was in a boat where I thought that spirituality was for losers and weak people, and I need all that. I was very anti-religion and things of that nature.
I equated it to religion.
I did too. Well, when I heard spiritual, I either thought those people who were religious,
right,
or the people that were always talking about, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual.
Yeah, right.
Like those people. And I said it with that kind of mockery because like those
Can
weird...
you even do that accent the way you just did it right now? I don't know. That in 2019 you're allowed to do it.
But my point is, I was that person where I thought it was like it was bullshit, basically.
Right.
I was like, I don't need all that.
Right.
I just need everybody to do what I need them to do. Like, I need everybody to just shut up and leave me alone, or
right.
I just need this to go the right way, or whatever it is. Like, I know for me, a lot of times, it was like in relationships and things of that nature, whether it be boyfriend girlfriend, whether it be coworkers. I was always coming in under the assumption it was they all needed to modify to fit within what I thought they should.
Correct.
So we would all get along.
Right.
That didn't work, okay? Because what I wasn't seeing was everybody else's position on Earth and life itself. Its job isn't to conform to what I think it should be.
Yeah.
It's my job to adapt to it and to realize that.
Oh, but people are not taught that.
No, they're not.
No, people are definitely not taught that you need to adapt to this Earth anymore.
No, and they're also not taught that stuff happens, man. They're not taught.
That used to be a slogan. Shit happens was a bumper sticker.
But they're not taught that anymore.
No.
They're not taught that like, because and that's why, I've taken some heat from this in my own home, but with my children, I try not to protect them from everything.
Right.
Because to me, protecting them for everything is setting them up for failure. Right. I'm not saying I let them go out and play with like a cobra or anything. Or
I tell my daughter to go wash the car during a hurricane.
Yeah, there you go.
Go scrub it down.
But what I'm
use
saying
the power of the wind like a pressure washer.
What I'm saying is I don't try to protect them from every little mistake that they might make.
Oh, God, no.
Because to me, that's setting them up for this idea that so many of us suffer with, is that it's possible to go through life without feeling pain or misery or whatever it may be. It's just simply not possible. You're never going to make it out without... But nobody makes it out alive.
I thought that's what you were going to say.
You know what I mean?
You just don't.
It's just not going to happen.
No.
And so to me... That's what spirituality gives you, is that perspective when it finally makes sense. We hear it all the time. We hear that life happens. We all understand. If someone were to come in the room right now and be like, look, man, I think my life should be awesome and perfect. Yeah. I think nobody should ever tell me no or whatever. We'd all think you're high or you're retarded. Like, what's wrong with you? That's never going to happen. But the first time anything happens that we don't like, what do? We get upset. Why is this happening? This is BS. I can't believe this. Well, wait a minute. You just literally told me. And so to me, that's what spirituality does. Right. Is it molds those two, and it finally gives you that moment of, aha, I get it. Go ahead. I know you got something golden. Go ahead.
Well, no. Just when you said that, I thought of, like the question, the meaning of life, right?
Right.
And I think that when you lack spirituality, when you lack that internal fuel of what spirituality is, I liken that to saying the meaning of life is to die.
Ouch.
If you actually are walking around this earth and you say the meaning of life is to die, that leaves a big empty void in the middle.
Yeah, what do you do in the meantime?
Nothing.
Well, why not just end it now then?
And I think that's where some people get to. Yeah. And I think that's the danger.
I
think
agree.
The true danger of walking around with the meaning of life simply being death, because that nobody argues. Even the people that argue spirituality, they don't argue that death is going to happen. Right. They're not saying, Dad, you're going to die, but I'm not. Like, no kid is saying that. You know what I mean?
I would hope not.
Now, I'm the only one saying that. I'm telling my kids, I'm not going to die. I'm living forever. Just trust me.
Only the good die young, so I plan on dying like 150.
This body may go away, but God, because I need a new one. This one's like broken. But I'm going to get another one. I'm coming back.
Right.
But the point is that if you're just living to die, then of course you're going to say, well, then it's just all about, I just better go live out life to the fullest. Okay. But what defines that?
Yeah,
and how are you defining, you only live once kind of concept? How are you defining that? Because one thing is the activity, but the other thing is the purpose. Now, do you really think that past ancestors, generations of individuals that live inside you, that their DNA is structurally inside you, all existed so that you could just do that activity that you're fighting to do right now? I mean, you think all those generations of people existed just so you could say, there is no purpose, there is no meaning? Then why did all of those people exist, live, fight, struggle, and evolve? What is evolution if there's no destination?
Right.
If there's no destination, then why does evolution exist?
Yeah.
So there's so many other questions that become opening up that arise from this lack of belief. Now, here's the thing. I get it. It's a big concept.
It's a huge concept.
That's why, to me, my spirituality says, stop asking. Just sit back and embrace it.
Yeah.
Have faith that it all works out.
Well, what's the worst that can happen?
That all you got to do is your part, and just don't complicate the vibe of the world.
Well, here's the other thing, though, right?
Yeah.
What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
Nothing. Right?
Especially if you're miserable already.
Yeah, if you're already miserable and you already don't believe in spirituality, and you already think spirituality is for weak people who don't, whatever. If that's your thought process, and your thought process then obviously would include that my way's the right way, I've got it all worked out.
Yeah.
Well, if your way is legitimately the right way,
right,
then what's the problem with giving it a shot? What's wrong with being open-minded? What's the worst that can happen, right? Like, I know how to put the batteries in a remote control.
Right.
There's really only one way to do it.
Yeah.
And so, is there any harm in letting my kids, or anybody else for that matter, sit there and fumble around with it and try to do it their way? No.
No.
Because I take solace in the fact of knowing.
It's funny as hell.
Yeah, I take solace in knowing, like, okay, well, I told you how to do it the right way. I'm going to let you sit there for the next however long you want to sit there before you finally realize my way is the right way. Mm-hmm. So letting them mess around with it and fumble with it, all it does is make me look even better because I told them how to do it the right way.
Right.
So if your philosophy on life is so right and you're so great and so perfect and you don't need spirituality, you don't need to listen to anybody else because they all got it wrong, okay, well then try it. Give it a shot. Dip your toes in the water and see what happens. The only thing, the worst thing that can happen is the ego is going to find out, no, I didn't have it right.
Right.
And then that's a win-win, right? It's a win-win in the sense of not only did you learn that you didn't have it the right way, but now you have the right way.
Right.
So it's like a double win.
And does anyone ever define somebody as wise that says, I'm in complete control, I know exactly what's going on about everything?
Yeah, has anybody...
I mean, have you ever looked at that person and go, that's a very wise person? You don't even use that word wise with them.
No.
You know who we call wise?
Spiritual people.
The people that kind of sit there and go, I know nothing, I'm an idiot, I'm stupid.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I've never heard anybody...
Someone who doesn't define anything. Then you go, oh, that's a very wise person.
Well, let's use a somewhat non-controversial figure.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pick a specific religion, and I don't consider Buddhism as a religion, so I'll pick the Dalai Lama. I don't hear too many people looking at the Dalai Lama and saying, that guy's an idiot. He's so stupid. You might not believe in the philosophy that but just the way he conducts himself in a very kind of humble, compassionate, genuine way.
Right.
I've never heard anybody say, oh, he's an idiot. I would not want to live his life. He's stupid.
Right.
Never heard it.
No.
So, and then on the flip side of that, people who are motivated by physical health things, like tangible stuff, like materialistic and stuff like that, we look down on those as a society all the time. Mm. Half of them are in jail right now for various reasons. And those are the ones that we don't want to hang out with or don't want to associate ourselves with. Those are the ones that gets us in trouble and stuff. But yet that's who we gravitate towards and less towards the spiritual beings.
Right. And all the biggest leaders, and then here's the mind trip on that, all the largest leaders of thought.
Right.
In other words, the spiritual leaders.
Right.
Whether they were born into money or not, were all broke.
Yeah.
Every single one of them lived a life of poverty, yet wrote the most brilliant things about human nature and human being.
Well, some of the freest people
that causes you a little bit of pause.
Well,
there.
the freest people are the people that have nothing.
Yeah.
That having nothing means you're the freest because when you have stuff, and I can relate to this.
It controls you.
When you have stuff, you're a slave to that stuff now.
Yes.
Because when you have stuff, your whole life is dependent upon working hard enough to keep that stuff.
Yeah, I wouldn't have to work if I didn't have to pay a bill for the stuff that I got.
Exactly. So like the people out in the jungle
I'm going to go
have
homeless.
nothing.
I'm going to go live on the property like the other people live. The homeless people. They're living on our property.
Oh God, they're probably still there too.
They are. I'm going to go live with them.
Oh man.
I'm going to go because I ain't got to worry about it.
Yeah. But I don't know.
And even them, they still like their crack.
Oh God. With this idea though, that
I swear, I'm just gonna go like do a 12-step on them, get them in rehab.
That would be funny, right?
That would be the thing to do, man. These
That's
people,
how we kick them out.
Right. I
We
want
just
to
show
help them. That's why I'm not kicking them off.
We just show up every
They
day.
just need to go to rehab.
No, that's how we do. We just show up, start talking about spirituality. They'll leave.
Stop it. Let us help you.
I don't know, man. Just the idea, though, and the reason why I wanted to have the show is because so many people I talk to, man.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get them to understand. Hey, man, it's your perspective. It's the way you're approaching this particular subject.
Right.
Right. And they just don't get it. You know, they still, you know. Here's a perfect example. Imagine somebody in your life wants you to do something for them, right? Somebody who's close to you. They want you to do like a favor for them, right? And you want to do this favor for them, but is there a way they could approach you to where you wouldn't do that favor for them? Is there a way they could be like, hey, idiot, come do this for me? You're probably less likely to do it, right? And to whereas if they were to come to you and be like, hey, excuse me, can you do me a favor? Can you help me out with this? So it's about the approach, right? In other words, it's the way you're approaching the situation.
Or where, because if it's at the gas pump.
Yeah, exactly. But the same philosophy, though, in life, man. It's your approach.
Yeah.
It's not the environment. It's you. It's the way you're coming at the situation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if every single thing if every problem you look at as a nail, then the hammer's always the right tool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you don't look at everything as a nail, then obviously the hammer's not always going to be the best tool.
Yeah, you're not Thor.
No.
There's only one Thor.
Yeah. But like that's the thing is it's your approach. It's the way your best thinking. You know, like and that right there to me is still and always will be my favorite phrase. Is your best thinking got you right here.
Yeah. You can't drive to Orlando and think you're in Miami.
No.
You drove to Orlando. Why do you think you're in Miami?
Exactly.
And you can't drive down I-4 and go, if I keep driving down I-4, I'm going to get to Miami. No, you're not. You're going to get to Tampa.
Yeah. Or the opposite end.
You know what I mean? You have to take the right road. Yeah. It's like you can't go down different roads and expect to get to the destination if the road is not heading towards that destination.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, and that's the thing, man, is you know, it's, God, dude.
And you know what?
It seems so simple now.
And please stop being offended by religious people. That's just sick and sad. Because let me tell you something. Why is it that even on television and schools and everything, you could say bullshit. Like we said bullshit on this show already. We said shit on this show. Right. You could literally say a lot of curse words now, and it's not offensive. Right. But if I and I'm not Christian and I'm not Catholic anymore, but if I would say Jesus, for some reason that offends people. Yeah. Why is the word Jesus so damn offensive, yet you could say bullshit, shit, and pretty soon we'll be saying the F word live on everywhere. But the point is
that we already have it.
We have a generation of individuals, generations that are, the evolution is taking them to, these words are not harmful, yet these thoughts are super harmful. You have to think the way we do. Yeah. Words aren't harmful, but we have to think the way we do. What the hell are you thinking? Or if I approach
spirituality, I'm weak in some way. We're on less than.
The common denominator is human. Humans are and will always be the problem. Not left, not right, not up, down, blue, red. Humans are the problem. Stop trying to figure that out and just do the next right thing. Just do the best thing for yourself and for the people around you. But stop telling me how to think. I'm not going to tell you how to think, but I'm going to ask you to stop being so offended by happy, nice people. I used to be offended by happy, nice people. I hated nice people. I'm still not thrilled with happy, nice people all the time. I got to admit, once you got, the big-eyed people, that's how I used to view, this is how I used to view religion. Hi, how are you? And I used to say, oh, that looks kind of freaky. Right. But now that I know so many more people that have different faiths and stuff like that, and now I'm more open to it, it doesn't bother me. Because that's them, and I'm glad that they have it, because we know some people that have gone through some serious life issues, and that is what helped them. They attribute their growth in being alive today to that. So who am I to say
dude,
it doesn't exist?
I went through a phase in my life where not only was I an atheist, but I was anti-theist. I was actively against religion. Like, I preached against it. I would start fights with those people.
Dude, those people, there's a lot of them, and they're rude, and they control the media, and they control movies, and I hate it.
But where I'm at now in my life, because I'm secure in my own spirituality, I look at religion. I mean, it doesn't work for me personally.
Right.
But who am I to tell somebody, if that's what gets you through the day, if that's what helps you make sense of this crazy thing we call life, if that's what provides you your peace, good for you.
Let me tell you something. Religion keeps some very mean people from killing you.
Yeah, right?
I mean, seriously. Yeah. The fear of what happens after death is keeping some people from doing some very bad things.
Yeah. I just, to me personally, man, once again, because we're getting close to the end now, I'm going to bring it all the way back to what I started it with, and that is peace. Yeah. It gives you peace, man. Say what you want about what's right, what's wrong. I think we all want peace. We don't know how to get there. We have different definitions of what that is, but we're all looking for it. And what I've found is, for thousands of years, there's been one solution that's been pretty constant, and most people who've effectively found it preach it constantly. Yeah, and that's spirituality. It's the one. It's been around longer than anything you can think of. Right. No building has been around longer. No, it's been around longer than pretty much everything out there. Is this spiritual belief system?
The most indigenous of people believed in it.
Yes.
But you're so wise.
But you're the one that can overcome it. Yeah. You don't need
You figured it out.
Yeah, you're right. You are amazing. Mm-hmm. But my question to you is then, if you're so amazing that you don't need spirituality and you don't need thousands of years of thought process and everything else, then why do you ever complain about anything in your life?
And why is nobody following you?
Yeah. If you're so amazing, so awesome, you don't need it, then write a book then.
Yeah, write it. Yeah, tell us all about it.
Yeah, I'd love to hear it, because I practice spirituality on a pretty consistent basis, and there's still things in my life that I mess up.
See, I love sarcasm.
Sarcasm is fantastic.
I just do.
I piss a lot of people off with that, though.
You know what spirituality is? Spirituality is just a big hug. It's like a hug from the world. It really is.
You know what? Yeah, I could call it that.
Spirituality is just a big hug from the world saying,
it's going to be okay.
It's okay, baby.
It's okay.
And then there's somebody out there going, I hate hugs.
Yeah. Don't touch me.
That's the problem.
Yeah, who hurt you?
Who hurt you?
Show me where they hurt you, okay?
I'm not going to kiss that boo-boo because it may be in a bad thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Oh, man. Anyways, all right, we only got a few more minutes left.
Yeah, we got enough minutes, though.
We got to wrap up some of it. I'm going to remind everybody again who might have just tuned in
that we're going back to Cali.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm going to Cali for the first time.
I'm going back to Cali.
So, on our sister show, our other show, I don't know how I would refer to it as, but on the network, WPSN99.com, we have other shows. We have The Couch Live, which you also see both of us on, and that's more related to drug and alcohol issues.
Yeah. And recovery.
And that is, well, yeah, touche. And that's on Fridays from 12 to 1, or you can see it at youtube.com/thecouchlive. Right. And we are going to be on the road coming up this week, so if you were one of the ones that tune into both shows, then you'll see a different setup next time, because we'll be in California, so I'm looking forward to that.
Like we're doing the show like 1 hour after landing, like 2 hours after.
Yeah, there is no room for error.
No.
And what I heard is traffic over there sucks. So how is that going to happen?
Listen,
we'll see.
We're I have faith that if we have to do the show in the Uber,
exactly,
then that's what we do.
But anyway, so you can see more on that later on. I'm gonna thank our sponsors real fast. They're the ones who allow us to do this stuff.
Right.
And we're gonna do Retreat Behavioral Health. We're going to do Journey Pure, the Orange County Drug Free Coalition, and then last but not least is the Now Matters More Foundation, which I do have an exciting announcement to make. We just had our elections. We got a new VP.
Yes.
Renee.
Yes.
Renee is our new VP. Former Mrs. America. You'll see her a lot of Renee. Stuff. Yay. Yeah. She's a badass.
Yeah.
We have
20 years ago she was Mrs. America. 21 years
Our
ago.
old secretary is now our treasurer, Courtney.
That's right.
And then one of our board members stepped up, and she's now our secretary, and that's Darian.
Right on.
And we also have a couple new voting members.
And you're still the president.
And I'm still the president.
Yeah, you won again.
I did. I won again. I am undefeated. Nobody ran against me, but
quiet that noise, quiet.
Anyways, if you want to know more about who we are and what we do, you can go to nowmattersmore.org. Right. That's nowmattersmore.org. You can donate to the cause. You can research it, see what we do and what we're about. Or if you need help navigating the addiction world at the moment, right now in your crisis, 833 Now Matters. That's 833 Now Matters, and we will do what we can to help you.
By the way, if you're going to do sponsors, you also got to mention that we do have a sponsor. We are doing a CBD challenge on 2 shows. We're doing it on Dharma Time here and the Couch Live.
Yes.
It's the CBD challenge because we have certain aches and pains. And look, let's be honest, it's everywhere. People are talking about it. And so we took it upon ourselves to accept the challenge.
Yes.
And so we've been doing it. And it's non-THC, by the way. And if you want that, just go to the Couch Live shows and watch those shows. We're not going to go re-explain that right now. However, here's the positive. Canaroo, a company that sells CBD oil, is donating, 45% of the proceeds.
Yes.
If you go to nowmattersmorecbd.com, that's nowmattersmorecbd.com, and you can take your own CBD challenge and see if it works for you. There's no THC in it or anything like that. But 45% of the proceeds are going to help people get into recovery and scholarship treatment. So it's worth, if you're going to do it anyway, or you're already buying CBD oil anyway, that's a good way to
give
do
it a shot.
Yeah.
Why not? And that's awesome, by the way.
Yeah.
All right, so let's wrap it up today. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. I know I kind of got you with the title of the show, but I want to bring some people in, ruffle some feathers. Having said that, here's a portion of the show where we like to wrap things up and give you some action plans or some actual things to do to kind of apply everything we talked about today. So the first of the 3 tips is understand that spirituality is many things to many people. Don't limit yourself to the definition of spirituality that lends itself to any one particular religion or any one particular higher power, whatever that may or may not be. Spirituality comes in many different forms for many different people. So don't limit yourself with just that one definition of things. The second one is one of the benefits of spirituality that you might not kind of appreciate if you're not a spiritual individual is it gives you perspective. It changes the direction or the approach that you have. It's like glasses to help you put everything in focus and see. So spirituality gives you perspective that you might not have had before. And then lastly, understand with anything else, spirituality is the same, and you got to have balance in life. And spirituality can help provide that balance in the 4 quadrants that him and I talk about a lot of times. But in life, you need balance. And if you're not taking care of your spiritual side of life, then you're going to be out of balance and it's going to cause problems. So spirituality provides that balance. I think that's all we got for today. We're running out of time. And so as always, now that you know better, do better. Peace. Are you still here? What are you doing? I told you, go do better.